welcome back to my channel. So today I have the YouTube Artist Collective piece for September for you, and I'm super excited. I hope that you guys like it. I tried some different things with my filming this time, so let me know what you think of it down below. This is for the YouTube Artist Collective, which is a collective of YouTube artists. We make art based off of a theme that you guys vote on every couple of months. And then you all can participate as well and post your art on our Facebook page, and it's super awesome. It's a really fun way to interact with the community and to kind of give you guys some feedback, like some art that is what you want to see, and also like it's like this fun kind of collaboration with all the other artists, and it's just like a really inspirational, fun thing to do. And there are quite a few other artists in the Artist Collective right now. There's Monique Renee, who is new. What up, Monique? Joy-san, Jellybee, Sakuems, who isn't participating in the challenge this time around, but she normally does, Zara Banez, Limia Crescent, Art a la carte, Bailey J, Mira Byler, and Sophia Lou Illustrations. And I will make sure to link everyone's channel down below and all their illustrations and all of that. So the theme for this month, this time around, was steampunk, which I was super excited about because I love steampunk. I think it's so cool, and I think I went a little bit more Victorian than steampunk with this, to be completely honest. It's always been the Victorian side of steampunk that has drawn me to it, so I think I was just like, yay, let's draw pretty dresses and ruffles. But I did try to keep it a little steampunky, but it was a lot of fun. This piece was very interesting. So first of all, I guess I'll talk about my idea. So you saw me sketching towards the beginning of the video, just sketching out my plan. I had this idea of this girl who is swinging on a key, on like a giant key, because for those of you that don't know me in real life, I am obsessed with old keys and like vintage keys. I have probably like 10 or 11 just like old keys in various places around my house. I have them in my car. I actually have a key tattooed on my back, where it says, I have a tattoo that says Curiouser and Curiouser, and then I have a key there. So I love old keys, so I really wanted to incorporate keys in this somehow. So I had the idea, and as I drew her, she kind of has this sort of burlesque dancer feel to her, just a little bit, with like the garter and the like flowing skirt, and I decided just to roll with it. So I was really actually happy with my sketch. I really loved how the sketch turned out. I went ahead and transferred it to watercolor paper. I'm using the fluid watercolor paper this time because my dog actually ate the last 3 pieces of Arche watercolor paper that I had, and then she threw them up. So I don't have that paper anymore because I haven't been able to afford to buy any more because my dog ate it, literally. But anyway, transferred it to that, and then as you saw just a few moments ago, I decided to line it with a dark brown colored pencil because I really wanted it to have more of a soft feel. And then I started coloring it, and this is where things started to get a little confusing for me. I don't know why, but I just didn't go with the colors I originally envisioned. I think I originally envisioned her in like a navy blue dress with like very pale skin, and I ended up making her more like darker skinned, just like more tan, and her hair came out looking a little bit different than I expected. I wanted it to be a little bit more sleek. And then I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna rock this. This girl's gonna have this awesome kinky, like super curly hair, and it's gonna be wild and crazy, and she's gonna have this like really great like neutrals. Like she ended up all being in like browns, and I decided to throw in some reds, some like reds and some violets in there. So it ended up taking definitely a different direction than I originally intended, but I am really happy with it. I think that I tend to default to drawing very like pale girls with dark hair because it's kind of what I look like, I guess, although my hair is kind of light right now, and also it's just like this kind of like gothic aesthetic, I think, that I like, and I think that I should get out of my box a little bit. So, yeah, this was a fun kind of challenge in monochromaticness as well, I guess, because I was using a lot of browns, and I don't use that many browns. Like, I tend to use blues and purples. I did throw in, like I said, some reds towards the end, but you know. I just got off on a tangent. So, as you can see, I am painting the dress, and this is where I started to add in some more of those reds and more of those purples to really add some depth and some fun colors to this. The other thing that I was going to say about this is that, oh yeah, I'm using my Schminke watercolor paints. That's a lie. I'm a big fat liar. I used Dan Smith for this painting. This is almost all Dan Smith. I did incorporate some Schminke watercolor paints towards the end, and I also incorporated some inks. Right now you can see I am using ink, black ink, to get some really dark black definition in her hair and really define some of those curls. So I just used black ink because I couldn't get a dark enough black with my watercolor paints. Later on, I do also use a metallic watercolor over the keys, and that's a Dan Smith metallic watercolor, and I have a sample. It's like a piece of paper with little bits squeezed out onto it. It's like a sample that you can buy for a couple of dollars to try it out, which Dan Smith does of all of their colors, so if you want to try Dan Smith, I highly recommend those. The other thing that I do a little bit later on is I decided to go ahead and add in change the background, and I'm doing it right now. I wasn't happy with the light background. I thought it looked cheap, I guess. It didn't look the way I wanted. I wanted it to look darker and richer and just have her pop more. It was too monochromatic. So I decided to go fill in the background, and this is actually fountain pen ink. It's Noodler's ink in Nightshade, I think it's called. It's one of my favorite inks ever to use in my fountain pen. It did stain my hand. I actually still have some stains left on my hands, and I did this about 3 days ago. It's a beautiful ink color. If you like writing with fountain pens, I highly recommend it. And it worked really nicely for the background. I did have a hard time getting the entire painting, like the entire background, painted in one go with all of the little bits and details and stuff. So I did get a lot of sort of cabbaging or dry edges, but I actually really like the texture it gave. It kind of felt to me like wine had spilled on the paper and dried into this like old textured look, and I really, really liked it. So right now I'm adding in that metallic, and you can see what I'm holding in my hand is that's the little watercolor sheet, test sheet that you can buy. So I do highly recommend those. They're really great for trying out paints. So yeah, that is kind of all I have to say about the painting, I guess. It really took a different, it took a different like kind of direction from what I was originally intending. I ended up going and adding these gears in the background because it wasn't, I still felt like I needed more. And I also realized I can't draw circles freehand, so I ended up using my mints and some of my ink. And I know I'm probably going to get asked this question, the gold ink that I'm using, I do not know what it's called. It is from like, I bought it in Florence in Italy in like a pen store. Like it's meant to be used with pens. I'm using all kinds of pen ink in this. Like what? Because my gold acrylic ink was dried up. So I need to buy more gold ink, fun fact. So yeah, I think it's really important sometimes when you're feeling frustrated with your artwork to just kind of take a step back and realize like, it's okay sometimes for your art to go in a different direction. It's okay for it to kind of have a mind of its own, and instead of fighting that, maybe go with it and see where it wants you to go. Because I definitely think that this painting, it didn't want to be what I originally imagined. It wanted to do something else. So I was like, okay, painting, I'm gonna trust you. I'm gonna follow you. Let's do this. And I am pretty happy with the result. It's not perfect because it was kind of not as planned out as it could be, but I am really happy with how it turned out. So yeah, right now I'm just redefining some of the lines. I went back over the lines of the keys in ink. So I hope that you guys liked this. If you do really like it, as with all of the YouTube Artist Collective pieces, the original will be for sale. I will post the link to my Etsy store down below. Eventually, when I get my print store, there will be prints of this. I promise it's coming. And that is it. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys so much. And as always, have a great rest of your day. Bye! I really like doing stylized plants. I just think they're really fun to draw. So yeah, I think that's everything about the painting. Like I said, I did this in a live stream, which was super fun.